This is the youngest professional Fortnite player of all time. From being banned for competing underage to becoming an FNCS champion, this is the entire story of Alex. Alex Richmond was born August 9th, 2008 in the country of Australia, with an older brother who inspired him to play video games and two loving and supporting parents. Alex was able to start gaming from a very young age. Lucky enough for Alex, his older brother was also into gaming, and he was actually the one who introduced Alex into Fortnite Battle Royale. Alex not only enjoyed playing the game, but he was good. Like, really good. Alex was even embarrassing his own older brother by carrying him anytime the two would play, absolutely destroying him in any 1v1. Alex's early success, he decided he wanted to play the game more seriously. And believe it or not, even with his young age, Alex started playing Fortnite competitively all the way back in the World Cup days of early 2019. And if you're good at math, you'll recognize right away that if Alex is only 15 years old today in 2024, then in 2019, he was at best 11 years old during the World Cup. And if you didn't know, the minimum age required to play competitive Fortnite is 13 years old. This would later become very problematic for Alex, but we'll talk about that controversy later. Because for now, we need to talk about the Fortnite World Cup. This was a huge event held in New York City for the best of the best in Fortnite, with $40 million in prizes available and over 50 million players trying to qualify for the main stage in New York. Just qualifying for this event earned you $50,000. To this day, this is still the biggest esports tournament of all time. And Alex, he wanted in. So from that moment on, he knew he wanted to be a professional Fortnite player. And he did whatever it took. So he started grinding every single day. He wanted to get into the World Cup, and nobody was going to stop him. However, after 1 week of qualifiers, unfortunately, Alex didn't qualify. Then after week 3 passed, week 5, and week 7, Alex sadly didn't get a qualifying spot and get to travel to New York. However, in one of the weeks of the qualifiers, he did earn $100, and for an 11-year-old kid, that probably felt like $1 million. But like I said earlier, being 11 years old would eventually impact Alex's career greatly, and we'll talk about that more soon. After narrowly missing out on qualifying for the World Cup, some people might have given up, but not Alex. After he didn't qualify, he got right back on the battle bus and started training even harder. And this time, he had made himself a mission. Alex had set a goal for himself that by the end of the year in 2019, he wanted to make $1,000 in Fortnite earnings. He wanted to do this to prove to himself, to the OCE region, and to the world that even though he was young, he could still be one of the best Fortnite players in the world and do anything that he set his mind to. And a couple of weeks later, after the World Cup, he did just that. On July 21st, 2019, Alex won $1,200 in the Cash Cup after placing 6th with his trio. And he didn't just stop there. You see, for an 11-year-old, money isn't the most important thing. Alex wanted to be the best, and more importantly, prove his haters wrong. So to prove he was the best, Alex set himself up with another really challenging goal. Now that he had earned $1,000, the next step was to get first place in a tournament that year. But with players much older and more experienced than him, this was not going to be easy. In the meantime, while Alex was getting better at competitive, he also wanted to start making content. Alex posted his first ever Fortnite video on YouTube on September 27th of 2019. It was a montage of some of his best Fortnite moments with some music playing over it.
So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time.
The montage was pretty good, and keep in mind, this is from 4 years ago, meaning it was made by an 11-year-old. After this first video was posted, he consistently uploaded highlights of his various tournament wins, showing off a bunch of different cash cups and placements. The videos didn't get a ton of views at first, but all of that was about to change. Remember a minute ago when I told you Alex's new goal was to get first place in a tournament? Well, on December 15th of that year, 2019, he did just that. He got first place in a solo cash cup, which for those of you that don't know is incredibly challenging. And even better, he earned $2,000. This was huge for Alex and showed him that he could really compete with the best of the best pros. But there was only one problem. Alex wasn't old enough to officially compete. Like I said before, Epic doesn't allow anyone under the age of 13 to play Fortnite competitive events. That being said, however, Epic Games doesn't exactly confirm people's ages when they sign up for the game. There's no real proof of identification required until you you go to collect your money, which can easily be done by someone else in your family. So basically anyone could just lie and say that they were in fact old enough to compete in the tournament when they really weren't. We've actually seen this with other prominent players previously as well, like FaZe High Sky. You see, some people can get away with this, especially at lower levels, but after a while of breaking the rules and performing at such a high level, there was a lot of attention on the young prodigy Alex. People were even tweeting out and asking why he wasn't being banned. It seemed like the public knew that Alex probably wasn't 13, but Epic Games hadn't caught on yet. However, that would all change, and unfortunately, on July 21st of 2020, Alex was banned from Fortnite. This ban was set to last for a whole year, and to say that Alex was devastated would be an understatement. But Alex wouldn't let this ban stop him from trying to be the best of the best. Instead of putting the keyboard and mouse away for good, he jumped over to another very popular video game at the time called Valorant. Although he didn't post much content about Valorant, he did show Twitter that he worked his way all the way up to Radiant. For those of you that don't know, to be Radiant, you have to be in the top 500 players in the entire world. This showed that Alex's skills aren't just exclusive to Fortnite, and he just has the God-given gift of aim. But despite this early success in Valorant, Alex never really took the game seriously, because all along he knew that he had to return to the game that started it all, Fortnite. Although Alex's ban only lasted for 1 year, he still wasn't old enough to return to competitive gameplay. He had to wait till his 13th birthday on August 9th of 2021 to return to the game. But even though he was banned from comp, that didn't mean he stepped entirely away from the game. He still grinded in creative and played in scrims when he could while he was 12 years old to make sure that his skills were the best that they could be when he was returning. He even posted Fortnite edits on his YouTube account titled with how many days were left on his ban. Everybody was excited to see the young prodigy return. So when Alex's 13th birthday finally arrived, he was ready to take over the Fortnite world. And he did just that. Alex turned 13 and jumped right into Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 7. And soon enough, he qualified for his first ever FNCS Grand Finals with his two other trio members, Suns and Tui. Despite Alex being sidelined for over a year, the trio looked good. With a veteran IGL Tui, who is one of the best OCE players of all time, he was able to lead the young Alex and their trio Suns to a 3rd place in FNCS Grand Finals. This won their trio $10,000 when Alex was only 13 years old. This was a huge win, and it showed the entire Fortnite community that Alex was not only back from his ban, but ready to prove that he was the best 13-year-old and really best player that Fortnite was ever going to see. Now, with his love of the game in full swing, Alex dedicated himself to Fortnite, grinding harder than he ever had in creative and scrims. You see, he was proud of what he had accomplished so far, winning a Cash Cup, placing 3rd in FNCS, but Alex, of all people, was not going to settle for anything less than being a champion. Because of this mentality, it wasn't long before he finally got the first place that he was looking for. It was OCE FNCS Grand Royale on November 21st of 2021. Here they took home $39,000. This was his biggest prize to date, and this only excited Alex to keep playing and grinding even more. You see, this is when Alex started to get on the radar of Fortnite players across the world. This was his biggest prize to date, and this only excited Alex to keep playing and grinding even more. You see, this is when Alex started to get on the radar of Fortnite players across the world. He was consistently placing top 10 in pretty much every competitive tournament that he played in. Alex loved his trio of Tui and Suns, but when Fortnite decided to revert back to the duos game mode after Grand Royale, Alex needed to find a duo. And along came a controller demon who not a lot of people knew at the time, named Bailey. Bailey, also in the OCE region, was a really good player, but coming from console not that long ago, he still had a lot to prove. That being said, Alex had a really good coach named Kataz who had turned him into a really good IGL even at such a young age. Therefore, Alex decided that he wanted to take the young Bailey, who technically was older than him, under his wing and see what they could do together. Just in the year of 2022, Alex got first place in 10 different Cash Cups, which, I mean, that's wild. And in the ones that he didn't win, he got 2nd or 3rd place. This kid was literally unstoppable. He was easily one of the best, if not the best player in OCE, and perhaps one of the best in the entire world. At the start of Chapter 3 in Season 1, Alex and Bailey got 3rd place in FNCS Grand Finals, and the following season in Chapter 3 Season 2, they got 2nd place. And then finally, in Chapter 3 Season 3, after getting 3rd and then 2nd, Alex and Bailey finally got their 1st place in the FNCS Grand Finals. This not only solidified their reputation as one of the best duos in OCE, but one of the better duos in the entire world. Soon enough, Alex was being scouted by pro esports teams, and with all of his recent success, Alex was ready to take another massive step in his career. So on November 9th of 2022, Alex accepted an offer and announced that he would officially be joining PWR. Alex would be joining as the youngest player ever signed to the massive organization. For those of you that live under a rock and don't know, PWR is one of the biggest esports teams in the OCE region and in the entire world. This was founded by one of the biggest YouTubers in Fortnite history, Lachlan. Alex was no longer a free agent, and with an organization like PWR comes much more of an audience. Even more eyes were on Alex than ever before. And just days after signing to PWR, Alex and his duo partner Bailey were flown out to Raleigh, North Carolina, all the way in the United States for the 2022 FNCS Invitational.
Alex and Bailey are a must-mention from Oceania because they have had an absolutely phenomenal Chapter 3 performance so far. They've only been getting better with each season of Chapter 3. They started out with 3rd place in Season 1, then 2nd place Season 2. So guess what Season 1 was? That's right. They were the FNCS champions of the most recent season coming into this FNCS Invitational, and their dedication to the grind did not stop there either.
The great thing about being here in person is that I am actually able to go into the practice room, kind of stand behind some of these players, and last night I did just that with Alex and Bailey, and they won the scrim game that I was watching, and they just look so good. Alex's aim, holy moly.
Let's welcome Bailey and Alex. 3rd, 2nd, 1st is how this duo has placed on the Oceania region, and now they must be absolutely ready for the big stage.
Despite doing well in these scrims, Alex and Bailey only placed 27th at the end of day 1. But to be fair, for an OCE duo to come to America and still place relatively well, it was a great first day for the duo. They just needed to do well on day number 2 and try and at least make it into the top 10.
Welcome to Bailey and Alex, battling it out at the Coney Crossroads off spawn. These guys can still make it today, but it will take a hero's effort.
Unfortunately, however, this was exactly the opposite of what happened. They ended up placing 46th out of 50 teams in the second day, which was not exactly what they expected from the weekend. But instead of letting it get the best of him, Alex did what he does best and stayed motivated and used this as a way to get better. After the loss, he tweeted out this: "Although my poor performance really motivated me to keep competing internationally, sorry to all the OCE fans for letting you down, but I'll be back." And Alex would be back, because in early 2023, Fortnite announced the FNCS Global Championship all the way in Copenhagen, Denmark. Players across the world had an opportunity to prove themselves in one of 4 different qualifiers throughout the year: Major 1, Major 2, Major 3, and the Last Chance Major, with the goal of making it to the Global Championships again. However, Alex decided it was time to split ways with his duo partner Bailey, and he began to try out a few other duos and some cash cups. He started playing some cash cups with popular players. Alex landed on fellow PWR player Worthy as his new partner in crime. But there was only one issue. See, Alex had played Major 1 and Major 2 with different players, and Alex and Worthy didn't decide to team up until Major 3 of Grand Finals, meaning that they didn't have enough series points to make it into the Last Chance Major. That being said, they had one chance, and that was FNCS Major 3 to secure a spot in the upper bracket. Luckily, this new duo not only shined under the pressure, but they absolutely dominated. Alex had the most eliminations in the entire tournament. Their insane performance scored Alex and Worthy a 2nd place and snagged them a spot at the Global Championship in Copenhagen.
What about the kings of OCE? Could that be Worthy and Alex? I had an opportunity to meet Worthy, just a sweet guy.
Yeah.
But Alex is pretty widely regarded as the best player in OCE.
Yeah, 100%. Such a recognizable character in the OCE scene as well.
This duo formed in Major 3. They might be actually the newest duo that we're going to be seeing compete here today. And they're going to be landing near that creaky compound where there are so many teams landing there. It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
After flying to Copenhagen, Alex and Worthy did a great job in the lower brackets, and they actually finished 6th place on their first day, which guaranteed them a spot in the big tournament on day 3.
Alex and Worthy, 6th place from the OCE region. Very impressive.
Alex is one of my favorite players to watch. Such an electric player, so entertaining.
So everything was up to Alex and Worthy to prove that OCE was the best region around.
Let's hear it now for Alex and Worthy as the the only OCE team in the lobby tonight. This is their chance, and the pressure is on to take home the LAN title.
Unfortunately, however, these matches did not go well for Alex and Worthy. I mean, the competition was at an all-time high, and these were the best players not only in OCE, but the entire world. Unfortunately for the duo, this meant they placed 49th out of 50, but they didn't come in dead last. After this devastating loss, Alex tweeted out, "A huge thanks to Kataz for coaching me through the year. I feel like I've learned so much and can do so well, but yesterday just wasn't the right time. I'll be a champion one day." Once again, as you can see, the young prodigy Alex took this setback as motivation, as after he returned home, Alex and his duo Worthy stuck together and claimed first place in the Majors 1 tournament in 2024. That means we will be seeing them in the next global championship. The most interesting part of Alex's story is that he has been through all of this and he's still only 15 years old. I genuinely think that this kid is a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and beyond talent, Alex has the mindset of a champion. Champions don't give up. Champions pick themselves back up when they are down. Champions find a way to win when all odds are stacked against them. That is Alex's mentality. And whether it's in 2024 or another year later on, Alex will be a champion.